lots of cats for the cat festival. And I just had a step tap. I'm hoping to make 1,000. First place, 23 cats. How much money did we make? Happy market day. Today's market is 7 hours from 10 to 5. So let me show you the setup. Here's the setup. We've got about 15 minutes until the market opens. Lots of stuff. We've got our restocked herb strippers, lots of cats for the cat festival. I have 4 of each, but somebody just bought the orange cat. And then the pottery up top. And this one is a cat festival. So we've already made one sale before it opens. We're $18 already. I have set my minimum goal at $800 because I think that's what I need to make to break even. I'll throw up the booth here, but it was pretty expensive. But I've already spotted a handful of cats, so I'm super excited for that. I am going to try to film every time I see a cat and do a tracker. We'll see if I can keep up with them. But Henry is here with me, so we'll see how the market goes. I'm hoping to make 1,000. The minimum goal is 800, but delusional goal is 1,000. So let's hope this is a good market. And I believe this is my second to last market for the year. So we have one next weekend, and then it's going to be a focus on stores, I believe. But I will keep you updated about the market. Now, can I just say, Cat Festival is a million times better than my last market. So, it's now 2:30. We are at $912. So, definitely, I think we're going to hit the $1,000 delusional goal. A lot is happening. So, this market has been so much fun, especially with having just about anyone here being guaranteed to be a cat owner or at least a cat lover. So I've had lots of fun conversations with people. Henry and I were having a race as to which cat pattern would sell first. There were 9 options. I chose orange cat. He chose calico. He won. My orange cat still is not sold out, but 4 different patterns sold out. So we're out of calico, Siamese, all black, and black and white are fully gone. We're also out of chickens and possums. However, I only have 2 of each, so that's not too surprising. It has been so much fun to see all of the cats and strollers, to where at one point I forgot strollers are not just cats, and then I was like, a human child? What is that? I've definitely, at least between the 2 of us, we've bought a lot of merch, so I will do a haul to show you what all we got. A lot of prints, and I did get my sister a Christmas gift, so I don't think she watches these, but if you're watching this, stop watching this. Because you'll ruin your Christmas gift. I'm glad we actually put up the air warmers. I wasn't sure how that would do with it being an indoor market, but it is starting to be cold. Last night was definitely below freezing, and it was a little chilly when we went out to go get some cake. Because what else are you supposed to do at 9 p.m. the night before a market? I think we've sold 3, at least 2. But, I mean, you'll see at the roundup at the end of the market, or end of the video as to what all sold. That's all I think I have for now, so I'll check in with you again later. And I just had a step tap in. So, there was this group of friends here, and they all had little tote bags. And I could tell one of them was acting really suspicious and holding their bag weird in a way that you would if you were trying to hide something, which is what clued me in. So when the friends moved, I noticed, because I knew I hadn't sold any of the gray cats, there should be 4. I noticed there was one missing. So I worked up the courage to mention it and ask if any of them knew where it was, even though I know exactly who it was. And mentioned their tote bags, and they all showed me, but the person who I was confronting was hiding behind their friend. And then when they opened their bag, I didn't want to dig through their bag, so on top I couldn't see it. So I just let it go. And now I realized they probably, while they were hiding behind them, moved whatever else on top, so I couldn't see the cat they stole. Don't. Ugh. Sure enough, of course, even though it's been a couple of minutes, I'm still shaking from, I hate confrontation. But still from Walmart, not from a small business. I hand make everything from scratch. So, I mean, I know it's part of business, but it's just something that happens. This is how the booth looks with about 10 minutes to go, so I don't think we're going to get many more sales. It seems to be just vendors here. We sold a couple herb strippers, but I was able to restock those. And then the biggest category that got hit was cats. The only color that didn't sell was gray. I am missing a gray cat, but that's because someone stole it. And it is now Tuesday, so I'm sorry I didn't get many clips. It was really busy, and I just didn't have the time to, which is a good problem to have. But I promised you I would give you a haul of everything we bought. So everything is in this bag. So some of it I purchased, some of it Henry purchased. So I'll show you the first thing we bought, which this is for my sister for Christmas. And it says Toe Bean Appreciation Club. Her favorite color is green. Also, she sends me pictures of her cat's toe beans all the time, and I send them back. So she had to have that. And then, oh, we also have this freebie in here, which my cat is going to love eating this, but it was a vet clinic kind of advertising, so they gave me that for free. This one I bought. And I will do my best to tag all of these people in the description if you want to go shop from them. So this company is called 9 of All Trades, and they had their prints. It was buy 2 get 1 free, so obviously I had to get 3. So this one I love. So this one, I'm a big Akatar fan, and it kind of just reminds me of the bat wings, and also this cat is very similar to my cat. So I'm in love with this one. And then it's all the craze right now, but I got the Wicked cats as well. And then lastly, I got this wizard cat, and the person literally said, "Oh, I noticed a theme between all the ones you picked." It was so hard to pick 3. I know they also had an orange cat that was like hiding in a pumpkin patch. That one was really fun. Lots of options, but I'm in love with those. And we have a huge wall filled with prints from Colorado artists, so that'll be nice to add. And then these two, I guess this was Henry's only purchase. We do have a small collection in our bathroom of butt paintings. Small as in there's literally 2. So Henry got this cat butt painting. So fun. I know there's Christmas lights on it, but we will leave that up year round. And that came with a frame, so that's a bonus because we ended up having just a stockpile of prints that we need to buy frames for, and then it gets expensive. Speaking of, there's now 3 added to that pile, but hopefully we can use that Black Friday discount to get a bunch of frames a little bit cheaper. It is harder to shop frames online, at least in my opinion, but it was nice last time we did it, where I think we needed 12 frames and we got it for like $100, so very nice. And then this is the other one he picked. I don't know why he picked this one, but I saw it in my first. That was Meowdy. So these don't seem to have a business card with them, but this is the bag that they came with, so maybe inside. No, but there's a fortune cookie. I don't know. And then this was my other purchase, and I saw this coordinator is really good about if you tag them on Instagram, they will repost. So I saw this the morning of the market, and I just really wanted to stop by their booth. She was really nice. I believe she said her name was Katie, but I will put her in the description because I don't have a business card, but I know I'm following her on Instagram, so I will be able to find her again. And she's had a bunch of cat mugs, and now I really want to do something similar. Not fully copy her idea, but I do have a bunch of cat cookie cutters, so I want to do something in the same realm because I do plan to do more cat festivals in the future. I did see they added a third one. So that one is there's going to be one in March, July, and November, I believe, for 2026. They already have their dates out. So I know it was a little pricey of a booth fee, but we will go over later how we did sales-wise. But I'm a cat lover, so if I didn't do this market, I was going to go as a customer anyway and had to have paid an entrance fee. So why not go as a vendor? And I definitely learned which colors of cats to make. So if I get the short form edited before this video comes out, which hopefully this will force me to do so, because I have a bad habit of recording short form and then never editing them and posting them. So assuming I get that done before Friday, I will add it in here. And you'll see the order of which the cats sold out. So unfortunately, the cat that I was, or I guess the two cats I was most annoyed by making because of the color changes were the first two to sell out. So I mentioned in an earlier clip that Henry and I were having a bet as to which cat would sell out, and his cat sold out first. My cat never sold out. So I fully lost. I also filmed another short form of how many cats came in the booth. I tried to kind of limit it to that, otherwise it would be hundreds. I didn't quite get every cat that came in the booth because I felt awkward pointing my camera at people, but I'll throw that in here as well. Short form I filmed, well, I always have a recap kind of like this, but short form wise for every market. Not that I've posted any of them since Memorial Day. I will be posting all of those soon, just late, I guess. But so that one I won't share here, but once it gets posted I will tag it, I guess. And then I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I saw a video of someone who it had the Hunger Games sound playing behind it, and it said like items that didn't survive the market, and they shared everything that sold out. So I tried to get clips of plushies I thought were going to sell out. I don't know how that'll turn out, but if it turned out well, I will put it here just without that sound because of copyright. So now that I've forced myself to edit all of these short form videos, we'll kind of go over. So I didn't explain to the best of my ability because I was still kind of angry about it, about the stolen cat. So I specifically was watching the cats to see which cat was getting the most interest and trying to do research for further future cat video, or for future cat festivals. Or I know like for sure Siamese and calicos need more of, and the black and white sold out, so I need to have more stock of them, whereas the gray cat never sold, so therefore maybe still have one or two gray cats, but don't equally make as many gray cats. So I was looking at that. I saw the group of friends come over. One of them picked up the gray cat and was looking at it, and then their friends near them then were blocking my eyesight from that person, and they were asking me about the herb strippers, and we were chatting, and then I noticed the person was holding their bag really weird, and I was like, I have a feeling they just shoved a cat in there while I couldn't see. So then I was waiting for the other friends to scoot over, And when they did, lo and behold, there were now 3 gray cats. So since I didn't fully see them put the cat in the bag, I got really scared, and I'm like, well, what if I was wrong? Like, when I see a kid pick something up and walk away, I have no issue yelling and being like, hey, you have to pay for that. But because I didn't physically see them put it in the bag, I got nervous. But I am 99% sure there were 4 gray cats when this group walked up. So I kind of mentioned it, and I was like, hey, do you all know where the 4th gray cat went? And they looked at me like, what? Because obviously only the one person knows. And they were, once again, standing behind one of their other friends. And I said, there were 4 cats, now there's 3. And I know you all have tote bags, so is one of you hiding it? And then they all showed me their tote bag, and I thought for sure they'd walk out. But then one of them kept talking to me, which was weird. But the person who stole it was hiding behind their friend. And then when they showed me their tote bag, it was not on top, and I wasn't about to dig through. So I think when they were hiding behind their friend, they rearranged their bag. And I just didn't know how much to push it. I hate confrontation. So I'm over it now. But unfortunately, I was self-conscious about it the whole day. And like, it even kept me up from sleeping. I was tossing and turning about, like, what if I was wrong and wrongly accused them? But so when we go over the numbers of how much do we profit, there's going to be an additional line of stolen product. But I love this market. I wish every market was like this, because as a cat lover, it was nice to know that just about everyone was guaranteed to be a cat lover. There were cat adoptions going on. Whenever I got bored, I was like, peace out, Henry, I'm gonna go look at some cats. It was so nice to see the cats get pushed in on the strollers into the booth. There were no dogs in sight, which is normally the case at my markets. I don't know if that's a Colorado thing or like an all over thing, but people just bring their dogs everywhere. So we will now go over what all sold. And I will find you the best sellers, one of which is not going to be a surprise. Alright, so first place, no surprise whatsoever, 23 cats. So I definitely think a lot more would have sold had I had more of the better selling colors. And what was interesting about this too, I mean, granted there were probably thousands of people that came out throughout the day, but I went around and counted, and I was one of at least 4 crocheters, and every crocheter had a loaf cat-esque cat, and I did see people carrying them around. So it's nice to see that even though most of us had a very similar product, we all still sold those cats. Second place were pocket octopus. I sold quite a bit of those. And then we'll go ahead and claim ear warmers. I sold 3 of those, which I almost didn't put out, and I was not thinking they were going to do well because it was an indoor market, and also it's just now kind of hitting the cold, but it's not quite there. So nice to see 3 of those sell, and then I will have them at my next market. And then they're kind of hard to display in stores, so I don't know what I will do in that case. But additionally, 3 sold were baby axolotls. And then I'm going to count these others. Actually, no, I won't. I will put them in the crochet category. So for crochet plushies, not much sold aside from the cats. So, I mean, I guess not too surprising. I mean, I thought I would sell more. So I guess kind of surprising. But for the setup, I did specifically put the cats at the very edge of the tent to kind of pull people in. I guess it wasn't a tent, but you know what I mean. So other crochet plushies we sold aside from the best sellers, we sold 1 spider. And then this is where I was debating putting them up in best sellers. We sold 2 out of 2 possums, so they sold out. Would I have sold more? I don't know. But I knew I only had 2, and I decided to just ignore it and focus on cats And then additionally, in the same realm, we sold 2 out of 2 chickens. But no mallard ducks. So I had 6 mallard ducks. And of course, none of them sold. But the chickens sold out. So you've probably heard, if you've watched my videos, I'm seeing a weird trend in the past couple of markets with chickens and mallard ducks. So we'll see how they do. And then additionally, I sold 2 mushy boys. And then on my spreadsheet, I'm back to cats. So we'll kind of go over how many of each thing sold. So the 4 fur patterns I sold out: calico, Siamese, full black, black and white. And then I sold 2 of the orange cats, which weirdly enough, my first sale was an orange cat, and then very early on was my second orange cat sale, and then they just stopped selling. But I did have a conversation with this artist where she also was having like the same thought process of like, oh, okay, orange cat owners are very particular and they really love buying merchandise for their cats. And we had like the same thought process, so I guess I didn't make it up. But I only sold 2 of those. And then I sold 2 of the sandy tweed with white, which is my favorite of the color combos. And also 2 of the gray and white. And then only 1 of the sandy tweed and woodland tweed. And 0 all gray cats, but 1 stolen gray cat. And then I did sell both of the pizza tofu turtles I had. None of the regular, but both of the pizza ones. So I definitely need to make more of those. I've had the shells made for a while. I just procrastinate because I don't want to make the pepperonis and sell them on. Last couple of crochet plushies, we sold 1 chick with frog hat, 1 platypus, 1 shark, 1 baby squid, and 1 dragon. And then I did sell 1 crochet kit, so hopefully he really enjoys it. He was talking about how he really wanted to learn, so hopefully that works for him. And then we'll go over stickers. Stickers actually did really well. So my stickers can range anywhere from $2 a piece, $2.50 a piece, or $3 a piece depending on how many you buy. So I won't tell you how much they sold for, but just know it was between $2 and $3. So I have a bunch of frogs holding pride flags. So I sold 1 bisexual, 1 lesbian, 1 omnisexual, and 1 progress. And then for the punny ones, I sold 1 ally fit, 1 biceratops, 1 homosexual whale, 1 jackalope sticker, 2 of the snowman stickers. They finally got to come back out because it is winter time again. And then 1 non-binosaur, 1 panda, and 1 triceratops. This one was the pink variant. Herb strippers disappointed me a bit because I spent the last 3 weeks working really hard to restock herb strippers to only have 2 sell. So I sold 1 of my $10 discounted ones, and then I sold a robin's egg, which I guess that was one of my new ones that I made, for $15. Other pottery, I did sell a ring holder. Those I made a long time ago, and I haven't been bringing them to markets, and finally brought them again. So I'm starting to get really low on pottery inventory, which I'm excited about. And then I did sell 3 spoon rests to the same person. She asked what they were, I told her what they were, and then she thought that they would do really nice as a cat feeding bowl. So hopefully her cats really like them. But she bought 3 of those for $12 a piece. And then lastly, I sold 1 bowl. I don't remember selling a bowl. Maybe Henry sold it. I don't know. I also broke a bowl. So, my bowls don't really sell all that often, so I wasn't too mad about the bowl selling. So now for what you're here for, how much money did we make? So I will do it by category from lowest to highest. So crochet kits, $25. And stickers made $36. Ear warmers gave us $60. Pottery gave us $91. And then the best-selling category, as always, crochet plushies gave us $899 for a total of $1,111. Now, that is not all profit, so I will show you how I break the numbers up. There are still categories that I don't calculate, like gas and the card fees and small things like that. I do, on my tax write-off, put the mileage in, but I don't calculate that out of my spreadsheet. So from the $1,111, $303.85 of that went to the booth fee, which is pretty hefty of a booth fee, and especially when they're charging application or like entry fees for all of the customers who come in. So they're making bank, these market coordinators are. Calculating material costs for only the plushies that sold came out to $96.34, which does not seem right. I will be right back. I realized that I forgot to put numbers in for pottery. Okay, let's try that again. Material costs of approximately $113.34 for only the materials, or only the products that sold. For labor to make the products, only the ones that sold, came to about $464.68. And then labor to work the booth, you do deserve to get paid to work your booths, came to $133. And then I did also add in the stolen cat. For instead of calculating it into materials and labor to make products, I just put it costs me between those categories $11.74 to make a cat. So I sell this for $18, so that's not too much of a profit. So when you subtract all of those out from the sales, that gives us a profit of $84.38. Now, if this had been a cheaper booth fee, I would have been much more ecstatic with that number. But it's hard to put all of that. Granted, yes, I am getting paid. And that's kind of the point of a business. At least for me, this is my full-time job. I'm doing this to pay myself. So that is covered. But the business still needs to profit in order to stay afloat. So my last couple of markets have not had that big of a net profit. So I'm hoping the next one will have a higher net profit because it was a much cheaper booth fee. But unfortunately, I really enjoy the markets that they put on, but then they charge $300+. So I already started slightly looking into my 2026 schedule, but not fully. I was procrastinating crocheting, so I was still being productive while not being productive. But I will probably do at least the cat festivals next year just because I loved being there so much, and hopefully from learning at this market which fur patterns people really like, and also if I'm able to implement something similar-ish to this at the market. And also someone commented, and I was also thinking about it too, of making specifically like dishes for cats to eat out of because they get whisker fatigue, so they need short, shallow bowls. So yeah, lots of things that I can possibly incorporate into the next cat festival to hopefully sell more than just cat plushies with a side of other things. But lots of plans moving forward for what I can do to improve. So yeah, I think that's everything for this market. I am still very happy that I did this. It was so much fun doing a cat festival and getting to chat with everyone. I do wish that person hadn't stolen it from me because it kind of soured my mood for the end of the market, whereas I was having fun the whole time until that happened. But as Henry said, it's just part of doing business. And if they had taken literally any other thing in the booth, I probably wouldn't have noticed. It's just because I was focusing solely on cats for research purposes for next time. But yeah, I'll definitely do hopefully all three next year. But we'll see how we get. It does sound like we're not moving. So that's also a factor of if we're moving, that kind of ruins all the planning I've done. But it sounds like we're not moving. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. There's going to be so much fun content coming out for the next month. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!